This week, I'm getting my Backwards Beauty collection ready for its very first launch on September 8th, 2025. Some of the pieces still need finishing touches, and it feels surreal to look back at everything I've created over the past year. Today I'm sharing a compilation of the remaining 10 beauties, along with the behind-the-scenes look at how I'm preparing them for release. If you missed last week's video, I'll link it below, the one that I share the first 10 beauties. So let's dive in. As I share some of these behind-the-scene moments, I want to share something personal. This September marks a year since I challenged myself to show up here every single week. And I've done that. There are days when it feels like I should be further along, more watch hours, maybe a bigger audience, and certainly monetized. Some channels grow in a few months, and mine hasn't, and that's hard. But here's the truth. I've always created for myself first. When I started experimenting with AI after my illness, I had no idea it would reconnect me with my art in such a powerful way. That playful curiosity became the seed of the Backwards Beauty collection. And now, here I am, preparing for my very first launch. I'm excited, I'm terrified. I have all the feelings. Painting has always been something sacred to me, something I protect closely. Sharing it with the world has been a huge shift, one that still feels vulnerable every time I hit upload. And yet, I love it. Because even on the hard days, my hope is still the same as it was in my very first video, that something in what I share inspires you to create, to dream, to pause, or to see beauty in a new way. So whether there are 10 people watching or 10,000, I'm grateful you're here. You're part of this journey, and your presence makes it worth showing up. So thank you. From my heart to yours, thank you. Now, let's return to the beauties. These are the remaining 10 paintings from the Backwards Beauty collection, a series I poured my whole heart into this past year. Each one carries her own story, her own presence, and together they form the soul of this collection. So sit back, get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and enjoy this compilation of the 10 videos that create the last remaining 10 beauties of this collection. Enjoy. 7 years ago, I dared to dream. I booked myself a month at an oceanfront beach condo, a place where I could wake up with the sunrise, feel the salt air on my face, and spend my days immersed in creating art. That November, I discovered something magical. It wasn't just the painting or the sunrise. It was the rhythm of the season itself. That first November by the sea changed everything. Since then, I've kept my annual promise to myself, a date with November. Every year, I return to the beach, carving out a month just for creating, reflecting, and being present. The mood of the beach in November is unlike any other time of year. The warmth of the summer lingers, but the crispness of winter slowly creeps in. Days grow shorter, and with it, my sleep falls into a natural rhythm. Early to bed, early to rise, in sync with the sun. The boardwalk slows down. Many shops are shuttered for the season, leaving behind a quiet, reflective pace. It feels like the beach is taking a deep breath, resting after the chaos of the summer. Yet, the weather keeps you guessing. One day, it's like summer never left, warm and inviting. The next, you're watching stormy waves crash against the shore, or perhaps even snow falling onto the sand. It's a season of surprises. On sunny days, people come out to bask in the warmth, soaking up every bit of golden light. On stormy days, the beach empties, leaving behind a moody, windswept landscape that feels like it belongs only to you. November is a time to notice the little things, the wildlife, busy and alive, moving through their own routines. The beach becomes a treasure hunt. Every morning, the tide leaves behind gifts, shells, driftwood, and bits of stories from the sea. For an introvert like me, November at the beach is a peaceful oasis. The quietness feels like home. There's less to do, but somehow I never have enough time to do all the things I want. The walks, the painting, the dreaming, simply being. Each November leaves me renewed, inspired, and already dreaming of the next. This is my date with November, a gift I give to myself every year, a reminder that sometimes the best way to move forward is to pause, breathe, and create. I've made a gift for you, and you can find it on my website, janlakey.com. It's a video with my top 5 tips for creating AI reference art. I've learned a lot through this process, and I think this video will help anybody who's just getting started using AI, or somebody who's already using AI and having trouble getting the results that they want. So go on over to my website and get your free gift. If you had to choose between the beach or the forest, if you could live anywhere, would you pick the peaceful shade of the woods or the sunny, sandy shores of the coast? For me, that choice is impossible. I love both equally. Spending time in the forest and the beach brings me peace and hope and inspiration. Thankfully, there's a place where I don't have to choose, and it's called James Farm. It's located in Ocean View, Delaware, a quick 20-minute drive from where I rent my beach condo every year. This 150-acre preserve is a magical blend of forest, marsh, and beach. What makes James Farm so special is the journey. It starts with a peaceful walk under the cool canopy of the forest, where the sunlight filters through the trees. Then you encounter these beautiful woodland boardwalks that weave through the wetlands, letting you experience the marsh up close without getting your feet wet. As you explore, don't miss the observation platforms. These are some of my favorite spots in the park. From here, you can look out over the marsh and spot ospreys or even perhaps a fish hawk. The park has thoughtfully built nesting platforms, which you can find in the heart of the marsh. Watching these magnificent birds care for their nest and survey the wetlands is a breathtaking experience that showcases the delicate balance of the ecosystem. These moments remind us how vital spaces like James Farms are for protecting wildlife and allowing us to witness nature's beauty up close. After your journey through the forest and the marsh, you'll finally arrive at the beach. It's a quiet little gem with soft white sand and calm, shallow waters, perfect for wading, relaxing, or simply taking in the views. James Farm isn't just beautiful, it's meaningful. The land was donated by a mother in memory of her son who passed away from a car accident. She envisioned it as a place for environmental education and recreation. And today, it serves thousands of school children and visitors every year. It's also a haven for dog lovers, which is rare in parks so close to the ocean. Having a space where you can explore nature with your furry friends makes James Farm even more special. There's always something new to discover here, whether it's the horseshoe crabs mating, tiny fish in the shallows, or intricate patterns in the driftwood washed ashore. For me, James Farm is the perfect marriage of two of my favorite places. It's a park that lets me pause, reconnect with nature, and enjoy the best of both the forest and the beach without ever having to choose. Leaving James Farm is always bittersweet. It's a place that fills my soul with peace and inspiration. And my time here today will have to hold me over until next year when I return to recharge. But the day isn't over yet. There's one more stop I want to share with you. Have you ever stepped into a shop and thought, if my personality were a store, this would be it? That is exactly how I felt the first time I visited Eastern Woodlands. It's a magical mix of new, vintage, and antiques, plants, and a whole lot of creativity. A space that never fails to fill up my inspiration cup. I always make a point to shop at local stores wherever I travel because it's important to support the people who dare to dream big and bring their creative expression to life. Eastern Woodland is one of those places. I want to share a video with you, but let me set it up first. So I was dead asleep, and all of a sudden I wake up, and I can't get back to sleep. And then I hear this noise, and I'm curious. It's coming from outside. I'm 5 flights up, and I go out on my balcony, and I see this. So foxes show up in my life again and again. And to me, they signify good on the horizon. Something is going well. Keep going. And even as I was driving home from Thanksgiving dinner last week, a fox ran out in front of my car and into the yard, and I stopped my car, rolled down the window, and talked to it for about a minute, and it stared there and stared at me. And I can't help but think that it's a sign that tells me everything's okay. Keep your hope, keep your faith, and keep going. I am curious, do you have a sign in your life or an animal that keeps reoccurring, that gives you hope and keeps you on the right track?
I've made a gift for you, and you can find it on my website, janlakey.com. It's a video with my top 5 tips for creating AI reference art. I've learned a lot through this process, and I think this video will help anybody who's just getting started using AI, or somebody who's already using AI and having trouble getting the results that they want. So go on over to my website and get your free gift.
Welcome to the cabin. I am coming to you from a place called Camp Easy. It is a cabin in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's been in my family for 4 generations. I've been coming here ever since I was a little girl, and I love to make a trip here every year and spend time with the mountains and the forest and all the critters and wildlife that you have to learn how to cohabitate with while you're in the middle of pretty much nowhere. So, and if I'm lucky, when I'm here, I get to paint. And I picked out a couple backwards beauties to work on while I'm staying here. And they're both inspired by my love of October and my love of top hats. So, I thought it would be fun if I interject a little history about top hats while I'm painting the backwards beauty that I am working on this week. I've always photographed women with top hats because of my fascination, but I've never painted one. So I was really excited about this week's and next week's painting that are both inspired by the top hat and also by my love of October and the misty spookiness of the changing of the seasons. I hope you enjoy it, and I appreciate you being here. I've made myself a makeshift studio here at Camp Easy in this little house called the Corn House. It's a guest house here that I've turned into my own little space. There's a certain tranquility here during the transition into fall. With the cool, crisp air and those moody, overcast skies, it feels like the perfect setting to get into the spooky spirit of autumn. Being here at Camp Easy, I can't help but be inspired by the rich history that surrounds me. I have always been fascinated by historical things. I often wonder what life they've lived before they came into mine. Isabel was inspired by my love for all things Victorian, and I absolutely adore the elegance of top hats, and I've even started a small collection over the years. There's something about the blend of sophistication and whimsy that captures my imagination. Did you know that top hats emerged in the late 18th century? It was first popularized in England around 1797 and was considered a symbol of sophistication and upper-class status. Originally made of felt, top hats were often worn for formal occasions and were a staple for gentlemen's fashion. In fact, they became synonymous with elegance during the Victorian era. Take Beau Brummel, for instance, often accredited with his ushering on the modern men's fashion. He was famous for tailoring suits and, of course, his impeccable top hat, which quickly became a must-have item for the elite. Though top hats are often associated with men's fashion, women have also embraced this striking accessory. The late 19th century and early 20th century saw women donning top hats in various of contexts, whether in theatrical performances, at races, or part of avant-garde fashion statements. Notable figures like Marlene Dietrich challenged conventional gender norms by confidently wearing top hats, showcasing the style knows no gender. This powerful statement helped pave the way of the future generations to express their individuality through fashion. Fast forward to today, and top hats can still be seen gracing the heads of stylish icons and even at special events, whether it's a wedding or a formal gala, or simply making a bold fashion statement. Top hats still remain timeless. Its versatility allows it to blend with modern outfits, bringing a touch of class, elegance to a contemporary look. My love for top hats is rooted not just in aesthetic appeal, but in the story they tell about individuality and expression through the ages. And now I give you Isabel. I wanted to get your opinion on the background of this painting. Do you think it needs to be darker or perhaps warmer? I repainted this background twice and struggled to get an even fade from light to dark. Because it's an oval composition, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult. And I also think this canvas that I used isn't of great quality, and I didn't put an extra coat of gesso on it. So I struggled a bit with the fine detail and the smoothness of the paint on top of it. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.
I've made a gift for you, and you can find it on my website, janlakey.com. It's a video with my top 5 tips for creating AI reference art. I've learned a lot through this process, and I think this video will help anybody who's just getting started using AI, or somebody who's already using AI and having trouble getting the results that they want. So go on over to my website and get your free gift.
This time of year, if you don't go to at least one farmer's market, it just doesn't feel like fall yet. This farmer's market is owned by the Amish, and they grow some of the most beautiful flowers and plants and produce. My journey to the cabin takes me about 4 hours and a half, and this market is on my way, so I try to stop here every time I pass by, sometimes just to look at all the pretty things. In last week's video, I shared with you a little bit about Camp Easy, a cabin in the foothills of the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains on the east coast of the United States. I thought it would be fun this week to give you a little closer look at the very eclectic and fascinating and often very messy, cluttered space that has been in my family for 4 generations. I come here every year, and there are always challenges that greet me as I stay here. Whether it is fixing the ram that pumps the fresh spring water or combating 4-legged creatures that want to move in. This place teaches me to slow down, to take a deep breath and notice what surrounds me. We often take for granted simple things like running water or electricity. Here in the mountains, it can be a daily maintenance that makes you have a whole new respect for the simple things. My favorite saying is, you have to learn how to cohabitate with all the creatures here. You are a guest in a wild place, and you need to respect and know that you will be pushed to your limits and taught lessons often. I have 5 nieces and 1 nephew. And my wish for all of them is to one day come here and spend time by themselves. Nothing changes you like being in the middle of nowhere with just your thoughts and nature. This week's painting is inspired by my love of October and all the spooky, misty changing of the season, but also inspired by a TV show that I watched growing up called Bewitched. It was a lighthearted show that followed a beautiful witch that was married to a mortal. She promised him she would be normal and not use her witchcraft. But she often would get herself into trouble and find herself using her spells to get out of trouble. She was a blonde, but I felt my witch needed to have long brown hair. This, however, has come back to haunt me. If you're a painter, you will know the feeling of painting something to death. I must have painted her hair 20 times over. At least it felt that way. I think there is a fine line between something looking fake or believable. I usually shoot for things to look believable, which is very different from perfect. This AI-generated image may have been just a little too perfect, which in my view made the hair look fake. So what I did was give it a little more texture and a little more contrast in tone. This is one of those paintings I will probably have to revisit in a month and maybe just add some finishing glazes and texture. I also had trouble with the cat. I really wanted the cat to look friendly, but no matter what I did, it looked angry to me. You'll have to tell me, wait until the end when I show you the reveal and tell me what you think. Does he look angry to you? If so, do you like an angry kitty? I suppose it could definitely work for this painting because of the theme. You may have noticed from the beginning of the video that the cabin is chock full of stuff. It's been accumulating for 4 generations, so finding a blank wall to stage these end shots was nearly impossible. But I managed to clear away some of the clutter on a brown wall and also a white wall. So I thought instead of just picking one, I would show you both, and you could help me decide which one you like best. I feel like this one could morph depending on what setting it's in, because the dark wall really made it feel like dark academia. But the light wall was so much more girly and really felt like light academia. But you tell me your thoughts. Either way, this one is destined for someone with a very particular taste. And if that is you, this will be up for sale on my website, janlakey.com. Here's a sneak peek of next week's video. I'm taking you antiquing with me. I'm looking for antique frames, very specific, that can be used with the Backwards Beauty series. Then I'm sharing with you thoughts on painting large. When I share with you one of the largest paintings that I've done so far. I will see you next week. Thanks for being here.
I've made a gift for you, and you can find it on my website, janlakey.com. It's a video with my top 5 tips for creating AI reference art. I've learned a lot through this process, and I think this video will help anybody who's just getting started using AI, or somebody who's already using AI and having trouble getting the results that they want. So go on over to my website and get your free gift. Welcome, beautiful one. I believe there's a reason you found this video, and I'm so glad you're here. In last week's video, I shared with you my story of how I reconnected to my art after illness and how using AI helped me. If you missed it, I will link it below for you. That video was a major milestone for me. It marked the launch of my new painting series, Backwards Beauty. My goal with this series is to inspire you to create. Each week, I will bring you into the studio
and share my thoughts and struggles about everything to do with art and creating. In this week's video, I wanted to share with you the very real struggle I had planning and making and launching this series, in the hopes that if you are struggling with something yourself and you feel like you're behind or your to-do list is never ending, my hope is this video will inspire you to keep going. You know that feeling when you want to eat your dessert first? Or you want to skip that long car ride and just be there? We are often presented with things that we want to do, but they come with conditions. Like, I would love to eat fast food every day, but I know that comes with consequences. The planning and making of this series took over 9 months. The struggles I encountered around every turn really had me wanting to push the skip button and just retreat into my little creative bubble and not share anything. The struggle was real, and I wanted to make that clear from the beginning, because with the magic of editing and video, it can seem like it just happens, like 1, 2, 3, and I have it all figured out. That couldn't be further from the truth. I have been working on this since last year. There are so many pieces to this puzzle, and even if I'd lined up all the pieces in the order and knew exactly what to do, I would still have to stop and learn each step of the puzzle along the way. From the camera, the lighting, the studio setup, the writing, the making of the films and the videos, filming yourself, editing videos, reshooting videos, and reshooting again. Working on updating my website, negotiating with negative thoughts, that's a big one. Finding time to do everything. Dealing with setbacks, overcoming expectations of perfection. These are just some of the challenges I had to overcome. I found myself just wanting to eat my dessert first and to skip the long car ride and just be there. I just wanted to get lost in the flow and paint. I finally reconnected to my art, and now all these things were getting in the way. I felt frustrated. I felt like a little kid who was forced to take a nap because it's good for them, but isn't tired, so they just end up tossing and turning until nap time is over. I know that all of these hurdles and struggles are part of the journey. As I said in last week's video, the magic isn't in the end product. It's in the making and the path you go on to make it. So I had to constantly remind myself to keep going. One of my teachers had a motto, which was one thing a day.
she would encourage her students to make a pact with themselves to do one thing a day towards their goal or their dream. So that's what I did. One thing a day. Now, I still scream at the computer on occasion, and I still ignore my to-do list on occasion. And sometimes I just paint on occasion. But after 9 months, last week I launched this series. And if I could be so bold, I would like to say, I am so proud of myself. I realize I will have so many more struggles to come, but I just wanted to take this time this week to stop and push pause and say, well done. I'm so proud of you. Actually, my niece left me a comment on last week's video saying just that. Hey Jan, I'm so proud of you. And I literally burst out into tears when I read it. And then I laughed. And in that moment, I realized how much I needed to hear those words. So next time you think something nice about someone, remember to share it, because you never know the power it might have on someone. Be generous with your kindness. This includes yourself. If you are struggling and you need a bit of support, know that you got this. You are amazing, and I believe in you. Be your own inspiration, and don't wait for approval that may never come. Be bold in your imagination, and be unapologetic about your process to get there. I believe in you. Keep going. I've made a gift for you, and you can find it on my website, janlakey.com. It's a video with my top 5 tips for creating AI reference art. I've learned a lot through this process, and I think this video will help anybody who's just getting started using AI, or somebody who's already using AI and having trouble getting the results that they want. So go on over to my website and get your free gift.
Previously, I painted a backwards beauty that was inspired by Jane Austen's Emma. I created 2 reference images that I could not choose which one to paint, so I decided to paint both of them. Since they are so similar, it reminded me of the power of copying your work or master's works. So this week, I'm working on the second painting and also sharing with you 5 reasons you should consider copying. I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons to copy art, and also the top 5 artists that are most copied. The first one is to learn technique. When you copy a master's work, you get an inside look at their decision making, their brushwork, their color choices, and composition. It's like sitting next to them in their studio. You absorb so much more by doing than by just looking. Vermeer is most known for his Girl with the Pearl Earring. He's beloved for his mastery of light and atmosphere. His subtle color shifts, intimate domestic scenes, and use of natural light through windows has inspired countless artists to study his luminous compositions. The second reason is to understand yourself better, to understand your own work more deeply. Have you ever finished a piece you love and then felt like you couldn't quite recreate that magic? Copying your own work can help you unpack what actually worked and turn accidental beauty into repeatable skills. John Singer Sargent, one of my personal favorites. Sargent's fluid, confident brushstroke is legendary. He could suggest the complexity of lace or fabric with just a few masterful strokes. Artists copy his portraits to study how he merged realism and impressionism without overworking. The third reason you should copy is to build muscle memory. There's something meditative and strengthening about repeating a process. It trains your hands and your eyes and even your sense of timing. Think about it. Athletes practice drills all the time. Artists can do the same. Monet. Monet is the heart of Impressionism. Artists turn to him to learn how to see light and color and atmosphere in a fresh way. His layering of color and broken brushstrokes are a masterclass in painting the feeling of the moment, not just the form of it. Number 4, filling your creative well. When you're feeling stuck or uninspired, copying can take the pressure off. You're still creating, but with less mental load, and that can make space for new ideas to sneak in. Van Gogh, famous for so many, but Starry Nights and Sunflowers are some of his really famous paintings. Van Gogh's emotional intensity and bold use of color are irresistible. His paintings are full of movement and texture and feelings. Copying his work helps artists loosen up and explore emotional power of expressive mark making. Number 5, to honor those who came before us. Copying a master is a form of reverence. It connects you to a lineage of artists through our history. It reminds us that we are part of something bigger and that we all learn from someone. Da Vinci. Leonardo was a master of composition, anatomy, and expression. His careful drawing and understanding of the human form makes his sketches and paintings foundational for any classical training. Copying his work is a rite of passage in many academies. What did I learn from painting Emma and Jane? The first painting taught me that I had the wrong colors on my palette for skin tones that I needed. I had a gray-brown, which made my skin tones a bit muddy. I was using a color called sepia, which I love, but it would have been better for me to use raw umber or burnt sienna. The skin tones I wanted were very warm. I kept trying to fix them, and after a while, I just was pushing paint around. I really love the way the light falls across her dress, and I think it's my favorite part about the painting. So with the second painting, I knew I wanted to improve on the skin tones. Another thing I wanted to work on was the hair. I wanted it to blend into the background more, and in doing so, I created this huge head. This was in the first composition, excuse me, which looked unproportional to the body, so I had to go back and fix it a bunch of times. And I think in the end, she has okay head. So did I improve on the hair and the skin tones in the second composition? Yes, I think I did. I knew I wanted the hair to be a little more brown orange because the tone of the frame that I'm putting it in is in that color wood. So I accomplished that, and I think it blends into the background brown pretty well. The skin tone, I really liked the new skin tones, and I had a much easier time blending the colors. I will say that I did mix most of my colors beforehand because I really wanted to take my time and get the colors close before I even put them on the canvas. I would say the second painting I did in less than half the time of painting the first one. So I was definitely drawing on my firsthand knowledge of what colors to put where and what tones I needed. Something I don't like about the second one, or something that I need to improve, is I think the shadows need more depth. So once the first layer dries, I will go back in and tone the canvas. And if that doesn't do it, then I will work on the individual shadows to deepen them and get it to where I want it to be. After putting in the texture of the background, which was in the reference photo on the second composition, I decided to take it out because it was just too distracting. I used to have this rule. I would never copy anything I already painted. I felt like it was a waste of time. The second one always felt like a runner-up and never as good as the first. But after learning about the benefits of copying and how many artists use it to improve their work, I decided to give it a try and have embraced it, or at least I'm trying to. And a fun fact about me is that I have several of his brushes and I love them. If you ever come across a Bob Ross brush, which they do sell or they used to sell at Michael's, pick one up because you won't be disappointed. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. This week was feeling really hard. I didn't feel like painting. When I did finally show up to paint, nothing looked right. My color mixing was off. My confidence was low. And I kept thinking, why does this feel so hard? So I decided to do something. I decided to write myself a letter. And I thought you might enjoy listening to it. Hey you. Yup, you. Sitting there, staring at the paint like it betrayed you. I see you. You're not lazy. You're not untalented. You're not broken. You're just in a funk. And it happens. A lot, actually. You forget this sometimes, but painting isn't always flowy and fun. It's sometimes frustrating, boring, uncomfortable. And that's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because you care. You're pushing yourself. You want it to matter. So here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to feel motivated to show up. You don't have to be brilliant or have brilliant ideas to start. You don't have to love what you make for it to be worth making. Please stop thinking the struggle means you've lost your spark. Your spark isn't gone. It's just hiding behind 3 muddy paintbrush mixtures and some self-doubt. Maybe all you need today is a tiny win, one brush stroke, one color that kind of works, one moment where you say, okay, maybe I'll just play instead of pressuring myself. You're still an artist, even when it feels hard. You're still worthy, even when your work isn't flowing. You're still growing, especially when it's uncomfortable. So go ahead and paint badly, scribble, sit and stare, whatever it takes. But don't give up. You've come through this before. You'll come through it again. And no matter how messy this week feels, there is still something beautiful on the other side. I promise. Signed, the part of you that still believes, even when you don't. So yeah, that's my little love letter to myself this week. And maybe to you too, if you're in the same weird stuck space. Sometimes we just need a reminder that we're doing better than we think, and that struggle, it's not the enemy, it's part of the process. See you next week. Last week, I had a special offer for a limited time, and it went really well. They went. So I think I'm going to repeat this each week up until my launch of my collection. I'm going to announce that soon, still working out some details. So stay tuned for that. But this week, I've got a real gem for you. It is this landscape, and it is 8x8 art with a 1/4-inch border all the way around, which can be cropped out or framed with the border. And I have this IKEA frame that I got, and if you have an IKEA near you, or you can get it shipped to you, you could put it right in there. How beautiful is that? And I think they have this frame in black, and I'm not sure what other colors, maybe a light wood, but yeah. So the special offer for this one is going to be $45 plus shipping, and it'll be on offer from this date, which is the 15th, until July the 15th, 2025, till July 22nd, 2025, which is just a week. So if you want this one, don't hesitate. It doesn't ship. I'm not shipping it with the frame. It's just the art. So this will come flat packed to you, to your door. So if you're interested, leave me a comment below, or go on my website, janlakey.com, and send me an email and let me know where you are in the world. And I will get you a shipping quote and hook you up with this beautiful painting. Dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, welcome to the studio. I am taking a little break this week from working on the mass of my collection to get it ready for the launch, which I will be announcing soon. So stay tuned for that. I just wanted to focus on one painting, and this one I started several months ago, and then it got put to the side every week. And so I wanted to finish her. She may look familiar because she is a copy. And if you haven't seen my video about copying, I will link it below. I go through all the benefits of copying and how I had to overcome because I hated copying, and the benefits of copying your work or somebody else's work or master. So anyways, I'll link that below for you. So this one, she holds a special place in my heart, and I just can't give her up right now, but I want her to be part of the collection that I'm launching, or one of the collections that I'm launching. So I wanted to make a copy so that I could keep a copy and I could sell a copy. Now, there's a little bit of a story behind how she was created, which is a little humorous because I really did chuckle when I made her. The reference image I asked AI to create was just exactly like you're looking at right now. She has a white dress, she's in like a moody background, she's got a straw hat, she's got her hair up that's tousled, and I wanted a white bird on her shoulder. Well, AI gave me a bird on the hat, and sometimes it would give me a bird under the arm, or, you know, all these weird places. But when it finally gave me the bird on the hat, I was like, that is just adorable. I love it. It's kind of me in a nutshell. I mean, it's just, she's chill, she's relaxed, she's a little quirky, she loves nature, she loves birds, you know what I mean? So I just love everything about her. And so I needed to create another one. And so this week, my focus was on finishing Matilda 2.0. And I started on her months ago, but I'm finishing her this week, and she's got a little more to go. I need to work on her hair a little bit more and her skin a little bit, and maybe the background, but I need your help on this one. I need your opinion. So the first one's background, I did much more muted and subdued, which I really like, but this time I challenged myself to make the background a little bit more like the reference photo, which I love. But as you can see behind me, the bottom part is very dark and the top part is very light. And from afar, it looks a bit maybe chunky or heavy or disconnected. So I'm curious whether I should bridge the two a little bit more, which is what I did in the first one, which I will show you side by sides, or leave it how it is, because when you do get up to it, it makes perfect sense and it's really beautiful. It's kind of stunning, I think, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So if you would be so kind, take a moment and share your thoughts with me. And let's just get into some painting. Thanks for being here. Before we get into this week's video, I want to tell you about this week's special offer. I've got two. They're $55 each, plus shipping, between this date, July 22nd to July 29th, just a week to grab these. The first one I'm going to tell you about is called Blowing in the Wind. It's 6x8 and it's oil on canvas paper. Again, the cost is $55 plus shipping. The second one I'm going to tell you about is Into the Mystic. It's also 6x8, oil on canvas paper, and cost is $55 plus shipping. If you are interested in these, please comment below and let me know which one you'd like, and I will get them to you. Good luck. Be quick. All I wanted to do this week was paint. Just be in the zone, fully lost in the work. But, like most weeks, life tugged me in different directions, and I had to gently steer myself back to the peaceful place where it's just me, the paint, and the canvas. I never get tired of the process. There's something magical about it. Knowing that after hours of quiet work, something will exist that didn't before. 1 minute, I'm facing a blank canvas, and the next, it's full of color, texture, and life. Sometimes I can see the whole painting in my mind before I even begin. Other times, I don't know where to start. It's that mix of knowing and not knowing that keeps it exciting. Like there's always something to learn. Beth, this week's Backward Beauty, was inspired by the kind of woman who walks barefoot all summer and keeps her hair tossed up to stay cool. The one who finds free plants on the curb and brings them home to soften her space. That's how I imagine her. At the last minute, I changed her dress to lace. I wasn't sure how I'd pull it off, but I loved the idea. I thought she needed some softness, just like the flowers she's holding. So I started by painting the skin beneath it. If I could get those tones just right, the lace would reveal itself. I worked in small sections, letting the shadow deepen towards her lower back and then get lighter as it worked up her back. I've always loved painting white dresses, not because they're white, but because of the colors hidden in the shadows. With Beth, I kept imagining soft blue or lavender tones, which play beautifully against the warm orange background. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is it working? I didn't get finished this week, so this will be a to be continued. And I hope she brings a little of that barefoot summer softness into your day. Till next week, enjoy. Hello, beautiful one. Welcome to my little corner of the world. I've got some special offer paintings for you this week. This one's called North of the River. It's 5x7 and the price is $45 plus shipping. This one is called Stillness After the Rain. It's a 6x8 and it's $55 plus shipping. These two will be available for 1 week only, July 29th till August 5th. If you're interested, please comment below to claim yours. But be quick and good luck. I thought I'd do a little voiceover this week, just sharing my thoughts about my stages through the painting process. It's right about now that I'm regretting not tinting this canvas because it was a lot of white space to cover up. I started out with a 4-inch brush, which was way too soft. So I changed it to 1.5 inches, and it was perfect. I just needed to take my time, and I started from the dark corners and worked my way towards the figure, using various shades of the orangey taupey colors and blending where I could. It was important to set up this foundation so that when I did go in and paint these grasses that she's holding and the hair, that I could blend that into the background. It's a tricky one with painting to know where to begin sometimes because it's all important and it all relates to each other. And whatever color is next to whatever color does make a difference. So you just kind of have to start where you want to start. I always go in with the dark colors, which is what I'm doing now. And my goal for these grasses was to have an abundance of different colors next to each other and to create softness. And I tried to hold my brush in a way where I was almost using it as a finger to do finger painting. I wanted the marks to be organic and natural and playful. And here I am just trying to cover the white spaces, but inject a little bit of the background in there so it looked like it was incorporated. I really had fun painting these grasses, and the color depth, if you could see it in person, I'm not sure it's coming off in the camera, but it's really beautiful. I was really craving earth tones, so I've been giving myself what I want, and the last couple paintings that I've done have been very earth tone based. Here I'm just interjecting some of the background color into the grasses to give it more incorporation into the background. It's important to have soft edges on soft things. So my goal was to make these very soft and just meld into the background. Her hair I wanted to be very tousled and soft. I started with the dark bits because the foundation for hair really helps set up the structure. And then you can come in with your midtones to add a bit of texture and contrast. I'm using a lighter color in between darker colors, and I wiggle my brush so that I can incorporate that dark color into the light, but don't make it a static line of color. I'm trying to soften the edges between each color so that it looks flowy and natural. Blonde hair has a lot of color, and it also picks up a lot of the color around it. So that was another reason why I wanted to incorporate the background before I started on the hair, so that she could reflect that color in her hair and then look natural within her settings. I'm scumbling over the skin tone now with some lighter tones to create a blend effect. And this is possible because I painted her skin last week. So it's pretty much dry at this point, and I can go back in and get that blend just right. Here I'm working on the lace, and I'm actually holding my brush awkwardly. So I just roll it back and forth, and I have a lot of paint on my brush. So I can get random marks, which help the lace look more believable. I really liked how this lace came out. I want to wait until this layer, this top layer that I put on, dries so that I can go back in and add some more shadows to the lace, especially near her underarms and towards the skirt where the lace meets the waist of the skirt. I really liked how all the different colors incorporated to make the dress look bright but also subdued. I think she needs a little more highlight in the bottom skirt of the dress, and I'm not really happy with the shadows near her arms, but I will fix that in the next go around of painting. The only other area that I really want to fix is the shadowing of her arm that's holding the dried flowers. You can see right there in her crevice where her elbow is. It's a little funky. I don't know how to describe it. It just needs some more shadow, some more depth. And that's what I find is I'm pretty much happy with the tones of the piece, but I need more depth. Am I saying that right? I like the color of the piece, the overall feeling, but in order to give it a little more drama, let's say, I want to go in a third time after this session. I'm going to let her dry for a day or so and give her a little more depth. So here she is, Part 2 of Beth. These grasses were my favorite part. Although I really like the lace and her hair, so I guess I could say this was a really successful painting session. Although I will say last week, all I wanted to do is paint, and this week, all I wanted to do is not paint. So I really had to step up and force myself to finish this painting this week, and I'm so glad I did because I love it. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next Tuesday.